very good evening and thank you for joining GBS News at 9. My name is Stephen George and our sign language interpreter tonight is Paul Madenge. Remember, tonight we have a special report on Nairobi West crisis. Keep it locked. Now, former Budget and Appropriations Committee Honorable Ndiri Nyoro makes his way to Wundanyi constituency in Taita Taveta, leading the launching of Masomo Bora initiative funded by Wundanyi Member of Parliament Dan Moshako. Nyoro, who is currently the Member of Parliament of Kiharu, was removed from the Budget Committee on accusation basing on unequal distribution of resources, has today stated that he cannot be stopped from delivering services to Kenyans, as Davis Karani reports.
Making his first tour to the coastal region since his ouster from the office, Kiharu lawmaker Ndindi Nyoro today broke the silence, stating that he will still deliver development projects to the country despite the ouster from the Budget Committee.
Ati mumesemaje? Wacha nisikie tena ndio niweke kabisa. Sasa nyinyi mukisema na nyinyi ndio wadosi, mimi nimetii.
Nyoro, who initiated the launching of Masomo Bora initiative in Wundanyi constituency, stated that he will be working with other leaders to initiate development projects in the country and was reassured support by Wundanyi leaders who showered him with praises for being a good leader.
Mimi yangu nitakwambia ndugu Nyoro, kanyaga hapo hapo. Wewe hakuna mtu amekuandika kazi, haujaajiriwa kazi, don't report to anyone. Wewe allegiance yako ni kwa watu wa Kiharu.
Kwa hekima ama kwa kukosa hekima ya watu fulani, wakaamua kumtoa kuwa mwenyekiti. Na sababu moja ni rais tu, nyota yake inang'aa. Nyota yake inang'aa.
The Elimu Bora initiative, which aims to fund day school students, allowing them only to pay 1,000 Kenya shillings per term, is almost the same project that Nyoro initiated in Kiharu constituency.
Hii muradi yake inafanana kwa kila jambo na muradi ya Kiharu ambaye tunaita Kiharu Masomo Bora program. Kwa sababu siku ya leo, and this is actually nimefurahi sana, is one of my brightest happy days, kwa sababu tumekuja kwa kitu ambayo iko na maana sana kwa taifa letu la Kenya. Ya kwamba tumekuja leo kufubua muradi ambayo wazazi wa Wundanyi constituency watakuwa wanalipia watoto wao wa shule za day school karo ya shilingi 1,000 peke yake.
Davis Karani, GBS News, Nairobi.
The Deputy Chief of Staff Performance and Delivery Management in the Executive Office of the President, Mr. Eliud Owalo, has commended the Maragua Ridge Irrigation Project as a crucial step towards improving agricultural productivity in Murang'a County. The 312 million shillings project, now 90% complete, is said to benefit 848 farmers on 400 acres in Makamahuha, Maragua constituency, boosting food production and economic stability. Mr. Owalo, who toured key national projects in the county, underscored the project's potential to empower local farmers through organized support and market linkages. During the visit, Mr. Owalo also inspected the Makuyu Affordable Housing Project of 1.8 billion shillings initiative under the State Department for Housing and Urban Development, with foundation works ongoing for 764 housing units. The project aims to bridge the housing gap while creating employment for the youth. Similarly, the Mackenzie Affordable Housing Project in Kandara constituency, valued at 491 million shillings, has reached 49% completion and will provide 220 housing units upon its construction. These projects align with the government's broader agenda to improve living conditions and stimulate economic activities in the region.
Kwa saa hii niko na vijana kutoka 20 wenye wanatengeneza hizi diliza. Kwa hivyo sisi tunafurahia tukiona hii kazi ikiendelea, juu kuna vijana hawana kazi. Na vijana wakipata hii kazi hapa wataweza kulea familia zao, wataenda kujimudu kimaisha. Kwa hivyo sisi tunafurahia hii mradi kwa sababu sisi hatujaajiriwa. Isipokuwa ni hivyo, juu nasikia kuna wengine wanasema hapana, wanakatwa hii pesa zinakatwa watu wenye wameajiriwa. Kwa hivyo sisi tunafurahia juu sisi hatujaajiriwa. Isipokuwa ni hivyo, sisi tungeuliza hii serikali, watu wao wakiajiriwa miaka 20 juu kuna vijana wengine hawana kazi. Kwa hivyo ikiwa hivyo, sisi tutakuwa tunafaidika.
We did say that one of the most viable means of sorting out the cost of living, bringing down the cost of living, is by bringing down the cost of food. Yeah. So deliberately as a government, we are supporting farm activities at the grassroots. By way of irrigation, that is one. By two, by way of farm inputs, like fertilizer. So in this region, you have heard from them that this place is traditionally very dry. And now with this irrigation project, they are able to undertake various farm activities. Exactly. This one here is a pawpaw farm. They have here 1,000 seedlings of pawpaw. Now pawpaw trees, 1,000. They are doing mangoes, they are doing fruit. We are just from the other farm where they are doing cabbages. So this is going to be a game changer, because if these people are well organized and they get the support they require from the government by way of extension services and also linkage to market, then we cannot go wrong. We are going to have money revolving at the grassroots.
Over 100 students from various secondary schools across central Kenya have converged at Nyandarua High School for the highly anticipated Regional Kenya Science and Engineering Fair, drawing from Murang'a, Nyeri, Kiambu, Kirinyaga and Nyandarua counties. The young innovators are showcasing their talents in robotics, engineering, environmental science and other STEM disciplines. Education officials emphasize the role of this platform in fostering creativity and problem solving among learners, even as concerns are raised about challenges facing the education sector, as Susan Nganga reports.
Over 100 students from various secondary schools in the central region are gathering at Nyandarua High School for the Regional Kenyan Science Engineering Fair. The students are drawn from Murang'a, Nyeri, Kiambu, Kirinyaga and Nyandarua counties. The event also involved regional competitions in various categories, including robotics, engineering, environment, and other science-related disciplines. According to Nyandarua County Director for Education, Mr. Philip Ambua, and the Central Region Kenyan Science Engineering Fair Chairperson, Dr. Agnes Wairimo, the fair, designed by the Center for Mathematics, Science and Technology Education in Africa, will help learners to be more innovative on various and diverse areas of learning and technology and basic home-based activities away from school.
At the same time, we also want to advise our principals to ensure that those projects that have been presented at this level, they can request for them to be showcased at Kenya Young Scientist Fair, which is usually at KICC every year. And it is during that fair that we usually, people from the industry, they come and see what the students are showcasing, and some of them, they can grow the talents, those innovations, and make them, they are grown into innovations that can be used in technology in our country.
Science and Engineering Fair has helped our students change their attitude towards science and mathematics. Although mathematics is not going to be compulsory, all of us know that when you are doing research, the issue of figures and statistics is a must. So they are going to get used, and they appreciate that they can do a research and present the findings scientifically.
However, Nyandarua Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers Executive Secretary, Mr. Julius Masharia, noted that though the education system has changed to CBC, there are things the government is undertaking that has proven to be a challenge to the education sector.
For one, we know all through this KSF and the sciences has been promoted by Semastea as a department that has really come up with the STEM schools. Unfortunately, at the beginning of this year, we heard that Semastea has been dissolved. So that goes against the spirit of CBC. So how I wish the president rethink of that decision, because we are this far because of Semastea.
Susan Nganga, GBS News.
The Office of Data Protection Commissioner hosted an important outreach event in Irunyenje's constituency, Embu County, to raise awareness about personal data protection. The forum highlighted the growing risk of fraud and cyberbullying, educating residents on how to safeguard the information and report misuse. With increasing vulnerability of personal data in the digital age, the event emphasized the need for caution and responsible data management.
The Office of the Data Protection Commissioner, ODPC, held an important outreach event in Embu County as part of a national-wide campaign to raise awareness about personal data protection. The forum highlighted the growing threats posed by fraudsters and cyber bullies, and experts emphasized the importance of using safeguards like encryption, access control, and logging to minimize the risks of identity theft and data breaches.
Tumeita wananchi kutoka kwa constituency mzima ili wakuje wakafunzwe vile wakati wanapeana information yao wahakikishe hawapeani information kwa watu ambao wanaweza itumia vibaya.
Residents were educated on how to protect their personal information and were informed about how to report cases of data misuse with a focus on the legal steps available to safeguard their rights.
And the good thing that we have learned and today that we have known is that we have the right to control our data. That is, even there is a law that protects this data.
Mtu yote ambaye anakuja kuchukua information yako ni lazima umwambie aweze kujitambulisha yeye ni nani, anafanya na huduma gani na ni kwa nini anachukua information. Kwa sababu tumepata wakati mwingi wananchi wanapeana information na baadaye hii information inatumika kuwadhuru.
The forum left attendees with a deeper understanding of how to manage their personal data responsibly.
Imenifunza kupeana information yako ovyo ovyo sio vizuri, na before upeane ujue ni kina nani unaongea na wao na ni information ina gani wanahitaji kutoka kwako.
We are enlightened as the residents and we appreciate the planners of these sessions that we have learned, and we are more enlightened. We are not the same as we came. So thank you so much.
The event reinforced the need for more such education initiatives to ensure that the public is fully equipped to handle personal data in an era of widespread digital exposure. Elvin Muyodi, GBS News.
Today's Friday Boomerang edition, the Boomerang captain or pilot Victor Odung travels with us to Uganda, where President Yoweri Museveni was inspecting the guard of honor as the real commander-in-chief, then the Venezuela, and finally back to Kenya, where we are reminded to go and wind up our weekend at the 2025 WRC Kenya Safari Rally competition.
We crossed the border to Kampala, Uganda, and here Mansevo was inspecting the guard of honor and proving to all and sundry that indeed he is the commander-in-chief. Salute. Again, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Museveni, how about the ballistic tactics? Backward, forward, Once a soldier, always a soldier. Boomerang flew further across the border to Venezuela. And slavery and slave trade seems to be back in the world. American President Donald Trump ordered the Venezuela's nationals to be deported back to their country. And here, they are jailed in El Salvador, Venezuela, handcuffed, and anyone who is shaggy is forcefully taken to the barber. Finally, the boomerang captain or pilot Victor Jung is back in Kenya just to remind you where to wind up your weekend.
All right.
At the Vasha WRC 2025 Kenya Safari Rally, this is the president flagging off the WRC 2025 Safari Rally today.
Amazing. One of our top rally drivers coming through the junior ranks. And I'm sure you'd like to have a quick word with Hamza. He is navigated by Adnan Dean in their 4th. 4, 3, 2, 1, and off they go. Hamza Anwar. Yeah. Well done, Hamza.
One by one, the drivers came. Then the son of Kenya, Jeremiah Wangombe.
Jeremiah Wahome, kijana wa nyumbani, being navigated by Victor.
Being navigated by
Jeremiah Wahome, kijana wa nyumbani, being navigated by Victor.
Victor June.
Being navigated by Victor Okundi.
Victor Okundi, not Victor June. Oh my God. As they say in Sheng, imenihata.
Kelele ya Jeremy na Victor iko wapi tafadhali? Haya, Victor, ukisalimiana upande hiyo uje tafadhali.
All the best to all the drivers. And that is Boomerang Edition. Victor June. GBS News at 9.
Wow. What a seismic report. It is now time for us to take a short break. Keep streaming into our social media platform at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is 21144. We'll be back.
This is the Youth Hub show that gets a groove on. We have so many topics lined up for you guys.
Can you survive without internet?
No, I can't. Siwezi survive bila internet mimi.
Hii ni kama kuambia mtu mwenye alikuwa amezoea kushinda na nguo, mwambie toa nguo ushinde.
She's still like Tito who believes in miracles.
Don't you believe in miracles?
Don't you believe in miracles?
If you love, akili inafungika na macho. You won't see anything negative in the relationship.
So my films, I can get funding to get a lot of time to do pre-production, so that when I'm shooting, costume ulishapanga, kila watu wako wanajua wanavaje, shooting location, like that process ya kwenda ku secure location, kwenda ku secure location, you get and like wow, this location ikeza pata.
This is where it will all happen.
It makes you happy.
Kuwa na vitu mingi sana, mapanga le nini. Sasa hizo issues zimekuwa zinachocha sana. Tunataka kutuka hivyo tu bila hii mambo ya mneti.
Are you ready? So guess the logo. Reveal.
Cadillac.
Cadillac. Unasema Cadillac. Tunapenda watu we love communicating, we love welcoming people.
Internet ilikuja kutotoa pangiza.
Trick or treat. In this class, we're going to make Ta-da! A Halloween pumpkin basket. I hope it was fun and interesting for you to learn.
Everywhere, GBS.
And welcome back. The Anti-Counterfeit Authority has seized 233 bags of fake fertilizer worth 2.1 million shillings in a crackdown that took place today in Molo and Nakuru. 2 suspects have been arrested and are now facing prosecution. ACA officials have issued a warning to farmers, urging them to be cautious and report any distributors of counterfeit fertilizers. Now to the next story, the NCBA Group PLC has officially launched the new brand identity for its insurance subsidiary, the NCBA Insurance Company, now rebranded as NCBA IG. That's the insurance group. The move follows the full acquisition of AIG Kenya in July 2024, marking a significant step in NCBA's expansion in the financial services sector. With this rebrand, NCBA aims to strengthen its foothold in Kenya's growing insurance market by integrating its well-established banking expertise with innovative insurance solutions. Now, speaking at the unveiling, NCBA Group Managing Director John Gashora highlighted the strategic importance of the transition. The Farm Insurance Company Managing Director Stella Junje echoed similar sentiments, emphasizing that the rebrand would enable the company to expand its products offering and improving accessibility to insurance services. The NCBA IG's launch comes at a time when Kenya's insurance industry is witnessing steady growth, with the sector valued at 309 billion shillings in 2023 and projected to grow at 10%. The general insurance market alone accounted for 188 billion shillings and is expected to expand further in coming years.
We're here today launching our latest baby, the brand for our latest baby, NCBA Insurance. As you've seen, we're unveiling the branding. This is a company that we acquired from AIG, formerly AIG Kenya. We acquired it in 1st of July of 2024, and the various milestones that we have met today was unveiling the official brand that we're going to be using for this new company.
Oh wow, it has been challenging, exciting, and at the same time fulfilling that we've been able, after almost 1.5 year period, to get to this milestone where we are now fully rebranded as NCBA IG. I'd say that even though you plan everything very well, there'll always be 1 or 2 hiccups along the way. So I'd say the main challenge was around time. We had a certain set time that we were supposed to have fulfilled the entire program. A few glitches here and there, so you'd have some overruns, but overall we were within the overall set milestone for achieving the rebrand, and first of all the acquisition, and finally the change of the insurance company name to NCBA Insurance, and then now finally changing the brand to NCBA IG.
The Anti-Counterfeit Authority has seized 233 bags of fake fertilizer worth 2.1 million shillings in a crackdown that took place today in Molo and Nakuru. 2 suspects have been arrested and are now facing prosecution. The ACA officials have issued a warning to farmers, urging them to be cautious and report any distributors of counterfeit fertilizers.
The Anti-Counterfeit Authority has seized 233 bags of fake fertilizer worth 2.1 million in a raid in Molo and Nakuru.
Managed to seize 233 bags worth 2.1 million of counterfeit fertilizer and arrested 2 suspects who are currently facing prosecution under the Anti-Counterfeit Act.
The officials have also warned farmers to be extra cautious and urged them to avoid falling victim to rogue distributors. They stress that counterfeit fertilizer can seriously damage crops and harm the agricultural sector. The ACA has also encouraged anyone with information about fake fertilizer being sold to report to the authorities.
Huu ni wakati wa msimu wa upanzi, wakuwe waangalifu na pia watusaidie sisi katika kuharibu kutuletea ujumbe kuhusu bidhaa kushi katika sehemu hizi. Zile mbolea za serikali hapo imeandikwa not for sale, government subsidies, na pia wamebadilisha na wakaweka zile mfuko za ambao wanauza kwa bei ya juu. So ningewasihi wakulima ya kwamba waende wanunue mbolea yale serikali wamewapea.
Trizatiengo, GBS News.
Nairobi is drowning in waste, and for residents near Hunter's dam site in Kasarani, it's more than just an eyesore, it's a daily struggle. The GBS documentary team visited the site to uncover the challenges posed by the city's growing garbage crisis, from overflowing trash to health concerns. This story brings into focus on the root causes, the impact on communities, and the urgent need for better waste management solutions. Our reporter Sylvia Wangeshi brings us the voices of those living with the crisis firsthand.
Every day, tons of waste are generated in Nairobi, from the food scraps in our kitchens to the plastic bottles that we throw away. How we manage our waste has a great impact on our health and our environment. Behind every piece of trash that you discard is a complex system of collection, sorting, and even recycling. Today, we take a deep dive in waste management and we explore the lives of the people who work tirelessly to give us a clean and a safe city. In the heart of the city's waste management system, this dump site in Kasarani, Nairobi, stands as a constant reminder of the growing challenge of waste disposal. Here, trucks arrive unloading mountains of discarded materials that have been deemed useless by the society.
Society inaweza cheza role kama hii, saa zingine tukiitana hizo ma-cleanups. Unaona, sababu saa zingine tunapata challenge ya society, hao wenyewe ndio wanakuja kutupa hapa kwa gate. Watu wa hapa. Unaona, juu mkokoteni kama hiyo si rahisi utapata ikimwaga hapa. Lakini mtu wako hapa around, watu biashara na mwenye anaishi karibu na nini anakujaga anamwaga wapi? Hapa kwa gate. Juu hata itakataka yote unaona hapa, sisi tumeleta hawa watu. Unaona, na ndio saa zingine tunasemaga hiyo community na society pia ikijiunganisha. Tukiitana kitu kama cleanups, inakam tunasongesha hiyo takataka juni yao, si yetu.
Each pile is a blend of plastic, metal, paper, and organic waste, forming a chaotic landscape of refuse.
At least wakamu watujulie hali, hata kama watakuwa wanatubebea twice a month, itatusaidia kwa sababu itakataka ikija hapa inakuwa ni challenge. Sababu unaona vijana hata saa hizi umesikia wanapiga kelele wakisema sasa imejaa gavai kujua tamwaga wapi? Kwa barabara ndio sauti ifanya nini? ndio ifike, lakini sisi kama wenye tunafanya kazi na gava ama wenye at least tuko na hizo chances, hatuwezi furahia hivyo.
People who work in this dump site go through many challenges, and despite reaching out to the government, they have not received any help.
Hakuna kitu gava imedu, kwa sababu hata hii dumping site msi tulijitafutia. Tuliona mtaani kuchafuka, inachafuka sana. Watu wanachukua gabo wanaenda wanaweka kwa kona, kwa chuo ama kwa gate ya mwingine. Inakuwa challenge, unaona? Hata walikuwa wameshatufungia hapo wakaweka ukuta, unaona? Sisi kama vijana bado ndo tuliungana tukabomoa hapa. Na tukawenye tulibomoa wakaona wana alternative nyingine, wakatuacha tufanye nini? Sasa sioni anything ati wametufanyia big, kwa sababu kama hata takataka wanashindwa kutubebea, naona inakuwa hakuna anything wanatufanyia.
These dump site workers often face extreme conditions as they sift through piles of garbage to find food. For many of them, this food is a crucial part of their survival. They scavenge discarded materials like fruits, vegetables, or even packaged foods that are still edible.
Ana mkate ikapa na hata chakula hii wanatupa, sisi tunakula na haijatuai kutudhurumu. Sisi tunakulanga hapa na haijatudhurumu, tunaishi kama binadamu. Hata ndio hii maembe huyu anakula na amerokota hapa, si vibaya kwa sababu sisi tunaridhika. Tunataka kuiba, hatuibangi, hata kutupa hapa pesa. Mheshimiwa, hatuwezi rogota. Mimi siwezi rogota pesa yako kwa sababu najua nitarogota hapa vitu nini nisaidia.
This is a practice that is born out of necessity, as they often have limited access to affordable food. In the harsh reality of waste collection, these workers sometimes rely on the leftovers of others, turning what many will discard into their daily meal. It is a grim reminder of the poverty and desperation that push individuals to live in such inhumane conditions.
Mazizo mamnyasho hizo masanitary. Unapata kuna magoshodo wameziachilia hivi hivyo kama hii, unaona hivi limeachiliwa hivyo nje. At least wangekuwa wanazifunga, ingekuwa at least better. Saa zingine unapata na mashindano. Sasa umeona kama mitupa. Tukaa hizo ndio zitupatia challenge.
Garbage collectors in Kenya often make money by collecting and selling plastics. They clean through the waste to separate recyclable materials, focusing particularly on plastic bottles, bags, and containers. These plastics are then gathered and sold to recycling centers or middlemen who pay a small amount based on the weight and the type of plastic. This has become a vital source of income for many, especially in areas with limited job opportunities like Nairobi.
Zikiingia pale kwanza wana separate. Wakiseparate, wakipima tunaandika kila kitu kuna bei yake. Then zikiingia pale pia zinaseparatiwa. After separating kila kitu kiwa kando kando, kuna wale watu wanakujia na zingine tunajipelekea. Kama carton kuna mali zinaenda Australia. Quinta kuna mwenye anakujia hapa. Chuma ndio hii inabebwa. Hiyo inaenda right industry na mabati.
Poor disposal of waste has great impacts on our health. Doctors link this to the spread of waterborne diseases and even respiratory conditions that are on the rise.
So in our setup, I can say most of the illnesses that come from poor waste disposal are more of the respiratory illnesses, and number two I will put on the foodborne illnesses. So for the respiratory illnesses, I think due to excessive exposure to fumes and basically air pollution, the smoke, the dust from industries, we tend to have more of respiratory chronic coughs, what we call chronic obstructive airway diseases, hypersensitive airways and reactions, which can aggravate, especially people who already have an underlying, let's say, asthma. So like those are some of the effects of the air pollution. For waterborne diseases, more of diarrheal diseases, especially in children, those are also common. But in the adults, you can have even issues such as typhoid, from ingestion of contaminated food.
On illegal dumping, we are not going to compromise. Hiyo ukishikwa, shauri yako, you will follow the law. You are going to pay your fine. It's a hefty fine under the MCA law. Because unless you have a clean environment, there's really not much else we can do. Now the city is sinking in garbage, despite the work that all these officers are doing every single day.
Kenya has today hosted an
The Kenyan government has long been criticized for its lack of action in improving the conditions at this dump site. Despite the growing awareness of the dangerous health hazards and environmental impacts such as rampant diseases and pollution, there has been no intervention from the government. Its failure to address these issues highlights a broader neglect of vulnerable communities, leaving them to face the consequences of a system that continues to overlook their basic rights to clean and safe environments.
Hizi vitu mimi na benefit daily nikizipunguza kwa environment, nazikusanya pamoja, naenda naziuza, at least zina sustain familia yangu na kulipa manyumba. Chokesha inachokeshanga, lakini yuko at least poa tukiwa wengi kiasi. Juu hii kazi kitu yofanya, unapata saa zingine takataka ni mingi kushinda mshahara. Juu unapata pesa kaa hii iko hapa, tutaigawa na watu 5. Well, tungetaka kukula hiyo pesa ikuwa at least mingi kiasi, tungefanya hiyo kazi watu 3, lakini ingetuchokesha design. Kufanya hiyo kazi kesho inakuwa ngumu kiasi. Anytime tumeshikana, kazi itaenda fast na itaenda kwa haraka.
An excellent report there by Sylvia Wangeshi. It is time for us to take a short break. Keep your feedback streaming into our social media platform at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is 214. We'll be back.
Everywhere, GBS.
And welcome back now to international news. The leader of the M23 rebel group has boldly rejected calls for an immediate ceasefire from both the Congolese and Rwanda governments, declaring the call for ceasefire doesn't concern us. This defiant stance comes as the group presses forward with its military campaign, now advancing into the strategic town of Walikale, marking their farthest westward push since the conflict reignited earlier this year. The statement underscores the group's continued determination to expand their hold on Congolese territory despite international pleas for peace.
The M23 rebel group's leader has dismissed ceasefire calls from the governments of Kinshasa and Kigali, emphasizing that the group's military objectives are unaffected by external diplomatic pressures. The M23 leader stated bluntly that the call for a ceasefire doesn't concern them, as his forces continue to tighten their hold on strategically vital locations.
They have put prices on our arrest. We have nothing more to lose. We will fight until our cause is heard. Meanwhile, what happened in Doha? As long as we don't know the details, and as long as it doesn't solve our problems, we will say it doesn't concern us.
Despite international efforts to mediate peace, the M23's refusal to pose the offensive paints a grim picture for the future of the conflict. As the fighting rages on, dozens of civilians are displaced and the humanitarian crisis deepens. The people of the region remain trapped in the crossfire while the international community watches closely, uncertain of any path forward. Reporting for GBS News, Irene Juguna.
Nandi Ndaitwah at 72 becomes one of the few women leaders on the continent to become the head of state and the first woman in Namibia's history. She was inaugurated in a ceremony attended by heads of state from several African countries including Angola, South Africa and Tanzania. Previously in the post of vice president for a year, she is a veteran of the Southwest Africa People's Organization that led the sparsely populated and uranium-rich country to independence from apartheid South Africa in 1990. Susan Nganga reports.
At Windhoek Independence Stadium, celebrations erupted as outgoing President Nangolo Mbupa handed power to Nandi Ndaitwah, marking her the nation's first female president.
Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah. Do hereby swear. Do hereby swear. That I will strive to the best of my ability. That I will strive to the best of my ability. To uphold. To uphold. Protect. And defend. As the supreme law. As the supreme law. The Constitution of the Republic of Namibia. The Constitution of the Republic of Namibia.
Coinciding with Namibia's 35th independence anniversary, regional leaders from Angola, South Africa, and Tanzania joined the momentous occasion.
35th independence anniversary. Want to wish you a happy Independence Day, and enjoy the double celebrations of rewriting your history. To President Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, President of the Republic of Namibia, and my dear sister. Tanzania, we fondly address you as Mama Swapo, and them given to you by our founding father, Mwalimu Nyerere. My heartfelt congratulations to you once again for making history, but also for setting the bar high for Africa and Namibia's culture.
Nandi Ndaitwah, a veteran of the liberation struggle, secured a decisive victory in November's presidential election, winning 58% of the vote. Her win extends the ruling Southwest Africa People's Organization Party's long-standing dominance since independence in 1990. The party narrowly avoided a coalition government, securing 53% of parliamentary seats. The opposition Independent Patriots for Change, which challenged the result in courts, garnered 25.5% of the presidential vote. In her inaugural address, President Nandi addressed the critical issue of youth unemployment, which stands at a staggering 44%.
Of our economy will also generate revenue to finance developmental and enhance and expand social safety nets. It will also create jobs to take care of the unemployed, of which majority are the youth. Opportunities will be created for the effective participation of the youth and women in various sectors of our economy through targeted financing, training, mentorship, and internship program, As part of youth empowerment program, the government will promote various sports codes and investment in appropriate sports infrastructure, because many of our youth, they are the beneficiary in this.
At 72, Nandi Ndaitwah brings a unique perspective to the presidency. She is a conservative Anglican pastor's daughter, exiled in Moscow during apartheid. She opposes abortion and gay marriage, aligning with Namibia's laws. President Nandi Ndaitwah now joins the ranks of Ellen Johnson of Liberia and Samia Suluhu of Tanzania, becoming one of Africa's few female heads of state. Susan Nganga, GBS News.
In a major political move, President Kais Saied has dismissed Prime Minister Kamel Maduri less than a year into his tenure and appointed Sarah Zafarani as his successor. With the nation grappling with a struggling economy, rising public frustration, and a growing migrant crisis, all eyes are now on Zafarani as she steps into the role. As Tunisians deal with shortages of essential goods and migrants remain stranded in southern regions, the new Prime Minister faces immense pressure to deliver change.
Tunisia President Saied has removed Prime Minister Kamal less than a year after his appointment and named Sarah as his replacement. The decision comes as Tunisia struggles with economic problems and a growing migrant crisis. Kamal's time in office was marked by economic challenges and public dissatisfaction. The country's economy grew by only 1.4% in the past year, and shortages of basic goods like sugar, rice and coffee have caused frustration among citizens. Said called for better coordination in the government and a stronger response to the national problems. He urged Sarah to take immediate action. Sarah, an engineer by profession, has served as a Minister of Equipment and Housing since 2021. She's now the third Prime Minister in less than 2 years. Along with her new role, she will continue leading the Ministry of Equipment. Her main task is to address the economic crisis and improve life for Tunisians. Meanwhile, Tunisia is under pressure over its handling of the migrant crisis. Thousands of migrants from sub-Saharan Africa travel to Tunisia, hoping to cross the Mediterranean to Europe. Many are now stranded in the southern towns like Amra, living in tents and forests after authorities blocked their journey. Vivian Scalabo, GBS News.
Tensions in the Middle East have escalated following the renewed airstrikes in Gaza. The Houthi militia in Yemen have launched missiles into Israel. The missile failed to make an impact as the Israeli army intercepted it, while the Iranian supreme leader warned the U.S. not to escalate any further tensions. This announcement comes after U.S. President Donald Trump stated that he will not hold Iran responsible for the attacks conducted by the Houthis. Abdi Ahmed reports.
Sirens were blaring across major cities in Israel, including Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. The Houthis fired a ballistic missile that was headed to the Ben Gurion airport near Tel Aviv and a hypersonic missile at an Israeli military facility. The Houthis stated that the attacks against the Israeli and American cargo ships in the Red Sea will escalate following the Israeli military conducting airstrike this week that resulted in massacres in Gaza. The group vowed to stand in solidarity with the Palestinians, and the attack will end if Israel agrees to a ceasefire. Trump stated that Iran will be held responsible for the attacks conducted by the Houthis due to Iran funding the group. The Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei warned the U.S. not to escalate any tensions. He further stated that the Houthis are an independent group with their own interests and Iran does not require proxies. Iran is said to fund Hamas and Hezbollah against the U.S. and Israeli influence in the Middle East. Today, Netanyahu fired the head of Shin Bet, Ronen Bar. Shin Bet is a domestic intelligence agency that investigated Netanyahu's corruption charges. The Israeli cabinet voted to sack Bar as the prime minister lost confidence in him. Bar condemned the cabinet for his dismissal by stating that he was fired with unfounded claims. While protest in Israel has escalated following the renewed airstrikes in Gaza, many are calling for a ceasefire for the remaining 59 hostages to be released.
We're just a few days after the war was resumed in Gaza, and we're very worried about the fate of all the hostages because we know that the military pressure puts a very, very large risk on their lives.
Rights groups have stated that the humanitarian crisis in Gaza will worsen in the coming days as Israeli blockade and airstrikes have made life unbearable for the Palestinians. More than 200 children have been killed since the attack began, and a total of 590 Palestinians have been killed since Tuesday, marking this week as the deadliest week in Gaza. The situation in Gaza has grown bleaker as Israeli Defense Minister stated that the military will apply pressure to Hamas by annexing Gaza as a way to fulfill Trump's controversial proposal of displacing Palestinians. Only time will tell how this situation will unfold. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
A stellar report there by Abdi. The European Union has postponed its planned countermeasures against the United States over President Trump's metal tariffs, pushing back the initial dates to mid-April. This delay provides more time for negotiations and reassessment of which U.S. goods to target. Now, the move comes in the wake of ongoing disputes over the tariffs, which have raised concerns among European leaders about their potential economic impact.
We are now considering.
The European Union has delayed its countermeasures against the United States over metal tariffs until mid-April, providing extra time for negotiations and re-evaluations of which U.S. products to target.
This approach would allow us to deliver a firm, proportionate, at the same time robust and well-calibrated response to U.S. measures, while at the same time I could continue with the mission to which I was entrusted by the President von der Leyen to continue talks with my American counterparts, trying to find the solution with them.
Initially, the EU planned to impose tariffs on 4.9 billion of US goods starting April 1st, with the second round targeting 18 billion in US products on April 13th. These levies are countermeasures against Trump tariffs on steel and aluminium, which Sefovic branded quite unjustified.
Tariffs are harming European companies, workers and citizens. And we all know that the EU is clearly not the source of the problem when it comes to steel and aluminium.
European leaders have raised concerns about the EU's approach, particularly regarding the proposed 50% tariffs on US bourbon. French and Italian leaders questioned whether targeting US whiskey was a wise move, with Meloni cautioning against the escalating trade dispute. Trizatiengo, GBS News.
Russia launched massive drone attacks in the Ukrainian port city of Odessa, which caused devastation in the city. The drones were launched while the Czech Republic president visited the port city. The Ukrainian military led an assault at a gas facility in the Kursk region that angered Russian officials who declared the attack a form of terrorism. Here's more on the story.
Russia launched a massive drone attack at the port city of Odessa, injuring 3 civilians and causing massive fire. The president of the Czech Republic, Petr Pavel, was in the port city to provide military equipment to Ukraine. The drone attack caused massive damage to infrastructure, homes, and commercial centers. Russia has accused Ukraine of attacking a gas pumping facility in Russian territory of the Kursk region. Russian officials have accused Ukrainian soldiers of committing an act of terrorism by blowing up the energy infrastructure. Ukraine denied attacking the energy facility and accused Russia of causing the mass inferno. US, together with Russian and Ukrainian officials, are set to meet in Saudi Arabia on Monday to discuss the ceasefire plan, as both Russia and Ukraine exchange fiery attacks. At what cost will it take for the two warring nations to agree on a ceasefire? Will the meeting change the trajectory of the Russian-Ukraine war? Only time will tell how the meeting will unfold. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
Today on The Explainer, we dig into the ongoing crisis in Sudan, where decades of political instability, military coups, and internal conflicts have left the country in a state of disorder. The recent power struggle following the ousting of former President Omar al-Bashir in 2019 has escalated tensions, leading to widespread human rights violations, mass displacement, and a devastating humanitarian crisis. With millions affected by the violence, we explore the deep-rooted challenges that Sudan faces as it battles for stability and path to peace.
Where there is no peace, the land will never prosper. Sudan has been in the grip of turmoil for decades, shaped by political instability, military coups, and internal conflict. Since the ousting of former President Omar al-Bashir in 2019, the country has faced an intensifying struggle for power.
We don't listen to the threats coming from here and there. We don't take into account the resolution of peace, the African Peace Council or International Security Council. We implement what we want to implement.
In 2019, a transitional government was formed, bringing both military and civilian leaders together. But the power-sharing arrangement was fragile. Mistrust grew between the functions. And in October 2021, the military staged a coup, dissolving the civilian-led government and plugging Sudan back into chaos.
First, a state of emergency is declared all over the country. Secondly, the country remains committed to the content of the Constitution Declaration of the interim period in 2019. Thirdly, the suspension of the Article 11, 12, 15, 16, 24, 13, 71, and 72 from the Constitution.
The coup sparked widespread protest, with the military using excessive force to silence opposition. Many civilians lost their lives in the violence, and the struggle for control deepened the country's wounds.
Those victims that are coming from my home are the victims of the dropping of bomb there. The authorities say many have died. I don't know how many have died. This is a mere power struggle. They don't care about poor citizens.
Over 3.5 million people are displaced within Sudan, and many more have sought refuge in neighboring countries. The healthcare system is collapsing. Hospitals have been destroyed and medical staff targeted. Sudan's people face a dire humanitarian crisis with limited access to essential services, and the conflict has left a devastating mark on the nation's future. As the power struggle continues, the people of Sudan are left in the wake of violence, displacement, and suffering. Paris Kego, GBS News, and this is The Explainer.
It is time for your most favorite segment of the show, the sports news. Let's get sporty. Kirsty Coventry has made history by being elected as the first female and first African International Olympic Committee president at the age of 41. The Zimbabwean sports minister and two-time Olympic gold medalist triumphed in a competitive race, defeating 6 other candidates to secure the prestigious role. With her election, Coventry's inspiring journey from a young swimmer in Zimbabwe to a leading global Olympic movement has captivated the world, breaking barriers and setting a new precedent for the future generations.
Coventry.
Kirsty Coventry, the Zimbabwean sports minister and two-time Olympic gold medalist, has made history as the first woman and the first African elected president of the International Olympic Committee at the age of 41. She won in the first round, defeating 6 other candidates, including Britain Sebastian Coe, Spain's Juan Antonio Samaranch Jr., French David Lapierre, Jordan's Prince Faisal, Swedish-born Johan Eliash, and Japan's Morinare Watanabe in a highly competitive race. Coventry expressed her gratitude, reflecting on how far she has come from her swimming beginnings in Zimbabwe and her hope to inspire others.
This is not just a huge honor, but it is a reminder of my commitment to every single one of you, that I will lead this organization with so much pride, with the values at the core, and I will make all of you very, very proud.
Coventry will succeed Birch, whose 12-year term ends in June 2025. Her election marks a historic moment for the IOC. Elvin Muyodi, GBS Sports.
Well, we have come to the end of the news bulletin. It is always a pleasure having you on board. Let's do this again, same time, same channel. We make your news our business. My name is Stephen George, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Paul Mudege. Good night.
Everywhere.